It is April 13th, 2026, Old Trafford, a ground that has witnessed decades of history, triumph and heartbreak. Tonight, it witnesses something it has not seen in 45 years. Leeds United walk away from the theatre of dreams with 3 points. Manchester United, a club that had 24 full days to prepare for this fixture, fall 1-0 on their own turf. And the manner in which it happens tells you everything you need to know about where this club currently stands. Welcome to United Analyst. I am going to take you through every moment of this night, every stat, every red card, every reaction and every consequence, because this was not just a defeat, this was a statement, and not the kind Manchester United wanted to make. ESPN UK posted the following, quote, "Manchester United had 24 days to prepare for their match against Leeds and they lost," end quote. The post also showed that United's previous fixture was on Friday the 20th of March, a 2-2 draw with Bournemouth. Tonight, Monday the 13th of April, they lost at home to Leeds 1-2. My analysis. 24 days, that is not a quick turnaround, that is not fatigue, that is not a fixture congestion excuse. When a top-flight club has 3.5 weeks between matches against a side fighting relegation, the result should be a formality. Instead, Manchester United were outworked, outthought and outplayed in their own stadium. The 24 days becomes a number that will haunt Mikel. It removes every possible excuse from the equation before it can even be made. There was time to prepare tactically, there was time to recover physically, there was time to study Leeds in detail, and yet the result went the wrong way. That context alone tells you this problem runs deeper than preparation. It is about performance culture, clarity of system and individual accountability. Centre Devils posted a quote from Gary Neville, quote, "It is the most disappointing night for Mikel since he took over. They will have to recover quickly with Chelsea coming up on Saturday. They never got going," end quote. My analysis. Gary Neville does not use words carelessly. When he calls something the most disappointing night under a manager, that carries weight. And the phrase "they never got going" is damning in its simplicity. It suggests this was not a case of United trying and being unlucky. It was a case of a team that never found its rhythm, never imposed itself, never looked like a unit with a plan. Neville immediately pivots to Chelsea on Saturday, and that pivot is deliberate. It is a signal that the clock is already ticking. There is no time to process the pain of this result. The same questions that haunted United tonight will still be there in 5 days unless something changes fundamentally and immediately. BBC Sport posted the following, quote, "Leeds United have beaten Manchester United at Old Trafford in the league for the first time in 45 years, end quote. The full-time scoreline reads Manchester United 1, Leeds United 2. The goal scorers were Casemiro in the 69th minute for United and Okafor in the 5th and 29th minutes for Leeds. My analysis. 45 years. That number needs to sit with every Manchester United supporter for a moment. The last time Leeds won a league match at Old Trafford was 1981. Most of the current squad were not even born. Most of the coaching staff were children. This is the kind of milestone that defines eras. And what makes it more painful is that Leeds are a side currently sitting in 15th place in the Premier League, fighting to stay in the division. This was not a loss to a Champions League contender. This was a loss to a side 6 points above the relegation zone. Noah Okafor scored twice in the first half in the 5th minute and the 29th minute, giving Leeds a 2-goal cushion before the interval. Casemiro pulled one back in the 69th, but it was too little too late. The scoreline is bad enough. The context makes it catastrophic. One Football posted the following, quote, "Lisandro Martinez sees red for the first time in his Premier League career. He has been sent off for violent conduct after pulling Dominic Calvert-Lewin's hair in a heated moment," end quote. My analysis. This moment changed the complexion of the second half entirely. United were already 2-0 down when this incident occurred. They needed composure, structure and the belief that a comeback was possible. Instead, Lisandro Martinez, in his first start since February following a calf injury, tugged on the ponytail of Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the centre circle during an aerial duel. It went unseen by the referee in real time. Play continued, but VAR caught it, and referee Paul Tierney was called to the pitchside monitor, where he took very little time to confirm the red card. Martinez became the first ever Manchester United player to be sent off in a Premier League match against Leeds. The timing of this could not have been worse. United were chasing the game. They needed every man available, and in one moment of recklessness, their task became mathematically and psychologically far more difficult. Football Tweet posted the following, quote, "Bruno Fernandes has now made 17 assists in the Premier League this season. He needs 3 more assists in 6 matches to equal the Premier League record of 20 assists in a single season." The joint holders of the record are Thierry Henry with 20 for Arsenal and Kevin De Bruyne with 20 for Manchester City. Can he do it? End quote. My analysis. In the middle of a nightmare result, there is one silver lining for Manchester United supporters, and his name is Bruno Fernandes. 17 assists in a single Premier League season is extraordinary output. The record stands at 20, jointly held by two of the greatest players this league has ever seen. Fernandes is 3 behind with 6 matches remaining. It is absolutely achievable, but here is the tension. A record like this means nothing if the team around him cannot convert results. Fernandes is clearly the creative engine of this side. He is producing numbers that belong in a conversation with Henry and De Bruyne, yet the team lost tonight. That says something profound about the structure around him. His individual brilliance is not being channeled into consistent team performance, and that is a systemic issue that goes well beyond one player. If you want this level of deep breakdown on every major Manchester United story, hit that subscribe button right now. United Analyst is where facts meet proper football analysis. No noise. No clickbait, just the full picture. Now let us keep going. LiveScore posted the following, quote, Manchester United lose for just the second time under Mikel Carrick, end quote. The graphic shows United's full results under Carrick, featuring wins against Manchester City, Arsenal, Fulham, Tottenham, Everton, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Aston Villa, and 2 draws against West Ham and Bournemouth, plus now 2 losses, 1 against Aston Villa and 1 tonight against Leeds. My analysis. The numbers under Carrick are genuinely impressive in isolation. 2 losses from 12 matches is a strong return, but context matters enormously here. The loss tonight is not just a statistical blip, it is a loss in a fixture that carried enormous symbolic weight. A home game against a relegation-threatened rival with 24 days of preparation. The form chart suggests Carrick has stabilised the club significantly. But stabilisation and genuine progress are 2 different things. The identity questions remain unanswered. And Gary Neville's comments about the midfield, which we will come to shortly, suggest that even within this run of results, structural problems have been papered over rather than solved. Football Tweet posted the following, quote, record extended. Bruno Fernandes has now made 17 Premier League assists this season, the most by any Manchester United player in history. The list reads 17 for Bruno Fernandes in 2025-2026, 15 for David Beckham in 1999-2000, 14 for Luis Nani in 2010-2011, 13 for David Beckham in 1997-98 and 13 for Antonio Valencia in 2011-2012, end quote. My analysis, this is a remarkable record. Bruno Fernandes has now surpassed David Beckham, Luis Nani and Antonio Valencia to stand alone as the most prolific assist provider in Manchester United's Premier League history in a season. Beckham's 15 assists in the treble-winning season of 1999-2000 was long considered a benchmark. Fernandes has gone past it with matches to spare. This is not a fluke. This is consistent, elite-level creative output across 30-plus league matches. The tragedy of this statistic is the night it comes on. The same player who is breaking club records is standing on the pitch watching his team lose at home to Leeds for the first time in 45 years. That contradiction defines where Manchester United are right now. Individual brilliance surrounded by collective failure. The Athletic posted the following, quote, Leeds United have not won 18 league visits to Old Trafford, a run that stretches back to 1981, but they have an early lead. Dominic Calvert-Lewin missed a great chance early on, but they did not have to wait long as Noah Okafor put the visitors in front after just 5 minutes. End quote. My analysis. The detail about 18 consecutive league visits without a win tells you what this moment meant for Leeds. They came into this game knowing the weight of history was against them on that ground, and yet within 5 minutes, Okafor had silenced Old Trafford. That opening goal was not a fluke. It came after Calvert-Lewin had already missed a great chance, meaning Leeds were threatening from the very first whistle. This was not a side that came to defend and absorb pressure. They came to attack. They came with a game plan. And the fact that Manchester United, with 24 days of preparation, allowed Leeds to impose that game plan from minute 1 is a serious question that the coaching staff must answer honestly. UTD Report posted the following official referee announcement, quote, after review, Manchester United 6 is guilty of pulling his hair, violent conduct. Final decision is red card, end quote. The post shows United were trailing 0-2 at 54 minutes and 34 seconds when VAR was checking the possible red card. My analysis. The official announcement removes any ambiguity. Number 6. Lisandro Martinez was found guilty of violent conduct. VAR did its job here. This was not a controversial decision. Pulling an opponent's hair constitutes violent conduct under the laws of the game. What is extraordinary is that it happened in the centre circle during an aerial duel, away from the ball, away from any goal-scoring opportunity. It was a moment of pure frustration or recklessness for a defender who had just come back from a calf injury, just returned to the starting lineup. To put himself in a position where VAR could red card him on his return is deeply concerning. The scorecard at the time of the red card read 0-2. United were already staring down a historic defeat. Martinez's sending off closed the door on any realistic hope of a comeback. Centre Goals posted the following quote: Bruno Fernandes in the Premier League this season, 8 goals, 17 assists, 25 goal contributions, end quote. My analysis: 25 goal contributions in a single Premier League season. That is an elite number by any standard. 8 goals and 17 assists from a central midfielder who also carries defensive responsibility, presses and reads the game. Fernandes is functioning at a level that puts him among the very best players in this league right now. But as an analyst, I keep returning to the same question. If your key player is producing 25 goal contributions and you are still losing home games to sides in the bottom half of the table, what does that tell you about the squad around him? It tells you the gap between Fernandes and the rest of the team is significant. It tells you the supporting cast is not converting chances, not providing the defensive solidity needed, and not matching his intensity and quality consistently enough. Simply United posted the following, quote, Casemiro has scored 8 Premier League goals this season, doubling his previous best return in 2022-2023, end quote. My analysis: 8 Premier League goals for a defensive midfielder is outstanding. Casemiro's previous best was 4, and he has doubled that this season. His goal in the 69th minute tonight showed his nose for goal, his timing in the box, and his ability to arrive late into attacking positions. But the context around that goal is important. United were already 2-0 down when he scored. It made it 1-0 too, and briefly suggested a dramatic comeback might be possible. It did not come. Casemiro's goals this season have been a genuine bonus contribution, but they cannot mask the broader question about whether his partnership in central midfield is functioning effectively as a defensive unit. Match of the Day posted the following, quote, Bruno and Casemiro, it is that combination again for Manchester United. Each of Casemiro's last 6 Premier League goals have been headers assisted by Bruno Fernandes, end quote. My analysis: 6 consecutive Premier League goals, all headers, all from Bruno Fernandes assists. That is not coincidence. That is a deliberate, well-rehearsed, deeply understood combination between 2 players who know exactly how to unlock each other. Fernandes finds the delivery. Casemiro provides the run and the finish. It is precise, it is repeatable, and it is genuinely world-class execution. The irony is that even this beautiful partnership was not enough to save United tonight. The combination works. The team structure around it is still the problem. The United stand posted a pre-match quote from Mikel, quote, "It is something we spoke about in the changing room. As players in a group, we all understand what it means to United. We are looking for a big night tonight." End quote. My analysis: Carrick spoke before the match about understanding the weight of the fixture. He acknowledged the rivalry. He communicated the expectation to his players. And his players went out and lost at home to Leeds for the first time in 45 years. That gap between words and performance is the central challenge Carrick faces. He clearly understands the club's history and culture. He clearly communicates with his squad. But the translation from the dressing room to the pitch tonight was simply not there. A manager can only do so much with preparation and communication. At some point, the players must deliver. Tonight, they did not. United Truthful posted the following Gary Neville quote, "The midfield pairing of Ugarte and Casemiro is not a pair that works together." End quote. My analysis: This is a significant statement from Neville and it deserves serious attention. Ugarte and Casemiro in central midfield is a pairing of 2 fundamentally defensive-minded players. Both are better suited to protecting the back 4, breaking up play and recycling possession under pressure. Pairing them together means Manchester United lack a genuine ball carrier or progressive passer in the middle of the park. That burden falls entirely on Bruno Fernandes further up the pitch. Neville's point is that the balance is wrong. You cannot build sustained offensive pressure from a midfield base of 2 holding players. You need verticality, you need dynamism. You need someone who can drive forward, pick a pass early and create transitions. Without that, the team becomes predictable and good opposition sides will exploit exactly that predictability, which is what Leeds did tonight. United District posted a post-match quote from Dominic Calvert-Lewin on the red card, quote, "I do not make the rules. I told the ref my hair was pulled," end quote. Calvert-Lewin was smiling as he said it. My analysis: there is almost a dark comedy to this moment. Calvert-Lewin did not embellish, he did not dive. He simply told the referee what happened and let VAR do the rest. His calm, almost amused reaction in the post-match interview tells you everything. He reported an incident honestly and the technology confirmed it. Martinez, on the other hand, leaves this game with his first career Premier League red card, a 3-match suspension and a memory he will want to forget quickly. Calvert-Lewin walks away with a winner's medal and a smile. That contrast is painfully symbolic of how this night went for both clubs. One Football posted the following, quote, 4th of January, Leeds draw with Manchester United leading to Ruben Amorim's departure. 13th of April, Manchester United lose to Leeds United at Old Trafford for the first time in 45 years. Leeds United have been a thorn in the Red Devils' side all season, end quote. My analysis: Leeds have now bookended a deeply turbulent chapter in Manchester United's recent history. The draw in January contributed directly to a managerial change. The loss tonight is the first home league defeat to Leeds in 45 years. This is not a coincidence. It speaks to a systemic issue at the club that has persisted across 2 different managers in the same season. Ruben Amorim left, Mikel Carrick came in and steadied the ship. But Leeds have now inflicted damage on both. The fact that a team fighting relegation has played such a decisive role in shaping Manchester United's season narrative is something the club's board and football leadership must reflect on very seriously. ESPN UK posted the following, quote, 44th minute, Lisandro Martinez denies Leeds scoring a 3rd goal. 56th minute, Lisandro Martinez is sent off, end quote. My analysis: the same player, 12 minutes apart, first a hero, then a villain. In the 44th minute, Martinez made a crucial intervention to keep Leeds from extending their lead to 3 goals. Old Trafford probably breathed a collective sigh of relief. 12 minutes into the second half, on the 56th minute, the same man is walking off the pitch with a red card. It is almost impossible to script a more dramatic personal reversal. Martinez had just returned from a calf injury. His first start since February ended in a red card for violent conduct. His contribution in the 44th minute suggested he was still a vital player for this team. His dismissal in the 56th confirms that even vital players can make decisions that cost their team dearly. The Athletic posted the following, quote, Leeds United beat 10-man Manchester United to win their first league game at Old Trafford since 1981 and end Mikel Carrick's winning home run in the process. The win moves Daniel Farke's side 6 points clear of Tottenham Hotspur with 6 games to play. United miss out on the chance to put a 10-point cushion between themselves and Chelsea in 6th. End quote. The partial Premier League table shown reads 15th Leeds United on 36 points, 16th Nottingham Forest on 33 points, 17th West Ham on 32 points, 17th, 18th Tottenham Hotspur on 30 points, 19th Burnley on 20 points, 20th Wolves on 17 points. My analysis: this result has consequences on both ends of the table. For Leeds, the win is potentially season-defining. 6 points above the relegation zone with 6 games remaining is meaningful breathing room. Before this match, the gap between Leeds and the bottom 3 was tighter. Tonight's result could be the moment that keeps Leeds in the Premier League for another season. For Manchester United, the consequences run in the opposite direction. The chance to put a 10-point cushion over Chelsea in 6th place is gone. That gap now narrows, and with Chelsea coming to Old Trafford on Saturday, the timing is brutal. If Chelsea win on Saturday, the picture around Champions League qualification becomes significantly more complicated. Mikel Carrick's winning home run has ended. The narrative of United being hard to beat at Old Trafford under him is now under question. And the squad faces a brutal week with a red card suspension robbing them of a key defender going into 3 critical fixtures against Chelsea, Brentford and Liverpool. The Lisandro Martinez red card. Full analyses. The situation is now fully documented. Lisandro Martinez, Manchester United's Argentine defender, was sent off in the 54th minute of the match against Leeds after VAR detected him pulling Dominic Calvert-Lewin's hair during an aerial duel. What makes this red card particularly remarkable is that it was entirely invisible to everyone inside Old Trafford at the time. The referee, Paul Tierney, did not see it. The linesman did not see it. Play actually continued for a period before Tierney was called to the pitchside monitor by VAR officials. What Tierney saw on that monitor was unambiguous. Martinez reached across during an aerial challenge and tugged on the ponytail of Calvert-Lewin, causing the England forward's head to jolt back sharply. The Premier League Match Centre confirmed the decision with an official statement that read, after VAR review, the referee issued a red card to Martinez for violent conduct. And the evidence suggests this is consistent with how the Premier League has been handling hair-pulling incidents this season. Earlier in the campaign, Everton defender Michael Keane was shown a red card during a 1-1 draw with Wolverhampton Wanderers for grabbing the hair of Tulu Arakodere. The precedent existed. The rule was known, and Martinez, an experienced international defender who has played at the highest level of the sport, should have been fully aware. Gary Neville's reaction was direct and clear. He stated that you are not getting away with a hair pull and that Martinez knew what he was doing. That comment from Neville adds a layer of accountability that cannot be ignored. This was not an accidental collision. VAR exists precisely to catch moments of off-the-ball conduct that happen away from the main action. The consequence is a 3-match suspension, which means Martinez will miss matches against Chelsea, Brentford and Liverpool. These are not peripheral fixtures. These are 3 of the most demanding opponents United will face between now and the end of the season. Chelsea on Saturday is already a massive game in the context of Champions League qualification. Doing it without your first-choice left centre-back, who is returning to form after a calf injury, makes that task significantly harder. The reality for the club is that this incident overshadowed some genuinely positive individual contributions from Martinez tonight. He made a crucial goal-line intervention in the 44th minute. He was on his way back to full fitness, and then 12 minutes later, a moment of recklessness ended his evening and his next 3 weeks of football. The timing is brutal, and the manner of it will frustrate Carrick enormously. The suspension and its implications, the situation becomes even more serious when you map out what Manchester United now face. 3 matches, Chelsea, Brentford, Liverpool, without Lisandro Martinez. These are not easy opponents. Chelsea are directly below United in the table and are pushing hard for a European place. Brentford are an organised, physical, tactically disciplined side who will test United's defensive structure, and Liverpool remain one of the most dangerous attacking sides in the country. The evidence suggests United's defensive setup will now need significant reconfiguration. Carrick will be without one of his most experienced centre-backs for exactly the period of the season when points matter most. The battle for Champions League qualification is still being fought. The 3-point gap to 6th place has narrowed after this result, and the fixtures ahead are unforgiving. Gary Neville's statement during the match that the midfield pairing of Ugarte and Casemiro does not work adds another dimension to this problem. If the midfield is already under scrutiny for failing to provide adequate cover and progression, losing Martinez at the back compounds the fragility in the defensive third. The reality for the club is that one moment of violent conduct from a single player has reshaped their final 6-game run-in. The 3 games Martinez misses are cumulative in their importance. But win them and United secure Champions League football, struggle in them and the conversation changes entirely. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's post-match comment, delivered with a smile, is a reminder of how straightforward the rules are. He reported what happened, the technology confirmed it, and Manchester United now pay the price over the next 3 weeks of Premier League football. Tonight was more than a result, it was a diagnosis. Manchester United had every advantage heading into this fixture. Time to prepare, home ground, history on their side, a relegation-threatened opponent. And yet the evidence of this match shows a team that never got going, a midfield that did not function as a unit, a defender who made a reckless decision that ended his own night 12 minutes after saving his team from conceding a third, and a manager now facing a defining week with a depleted squad. The positives exist. Bruno Fernandes is producing historically great numbers. 17 assists in a season is a Manchester United record. Casemiro's 8 goals from midfield is remarkable output. The Bruno to Casemiro header combination is as reliable as anything in the league this season. But positives in individual statistics cannot mask a collective result like this. Leeds United have not won a league match at Old Trafford in 45 years. Tonight they did, and they did it with authority. Michael Carrick now faces the biggest test of his tenure, Chelsea on Saturday, without Martinez, with questions about his midfield pairing still unanswered, with Gary Neville's words still ringing in the ears of anyone watching closely. The next 3 matches will define whether this Manchester United season ends in Champions League qualification or a painful final day calculation. The players know it, the manager knows it, and after tonight, the entire football world knows it too. This has been Emma United Analyst. If this breakdown gave you the full picture, subscribe now and stay with us for every match, every moment and every analysis that matters. I will see you for the next one.